So punch comes in, right? So get a situation. The counter-attack comes. So we have to walk away.
What do you the jaws all the time?
Do you want to make it a grab or something? You make it what you want to make it, right? You've got me like this, right? There's 101 things, but I need to get away. Take it practically, but you've got to get away. Straight away. Okay? Right? Just walk away. Yes. See, the counter-attack. I've got his arm. There's your counter-attack. And this leg's stopping this leg. That happened quite fast. You see? And it was unexpected. That's why I picked Keith, because I know he's a trickster. Okay, man. Your favourite technique on anyone?
My favourite technique?
Yeah.
Don't know what.
Change it by the nose over there.
Right? Right? Man's taller than me, and I'm on my toes, and he's standing on mine to stop me getting away. Right? This is the mentality you've got to have. Oh. Oh. That's the mentality. Understand? Something else, the next favourite technique. I'll tell you, that's on. Put it on, put it on. Right? Try and get out of that using any other method. You're gone. Tell you what, you're going to take 2 or 3 seconds to get out of that. Do you want to feel one of those things? Right? So I've got to there, right? And I've got a good position. If I was to move straight away and take advantage, supposing I didn't take advantage of that, then Keith would then do, I don't know, what? He would do this. Right? So I've got to have a move to get out of that. Right? Now if start to apply it, right? Right? You understand what's going on? You can't, you understand it? You understand it?
Tell me what's going on.
Well, what's he doing? Counter-attack? What am I doing? Is that, oh, I can always get out. Right? Let's take it. Now, you saw 3, 4, 5 moves there, right? This time, every time he goes to counter-attack, I'm just going to walk away. You understand? Instead of counter-attacking, I'm going to simply walk away. So I want you to see that you can get involved in the situation. You've always got to have this mentality that if I need to get out, then I don't have to be involved and just go and just leave.
See what you're getting through now. Once he's committed himself, he's going to do that. That's it. He's got nothing else to think about except.
Now let's break it down. If he does that again, just put it on fairly hard, not too hard, because I want to be able to talk. Can you imagine trying to get that off? He doesn't strength. I don't think it's possible. If you try to get him off this way, it's not possible. If you understand the mechanics of what's happening in there, you're going to pass out in a few more seconds, I tell you. You're going to pass out. Watch. Use strength to stop that happening, Mal. I want to push his arm up. Mal doesn't let me. But what he can't stop me doing, this is the saviour of it all, is he can't stop me doing. You understand? Because there's a back door.
Moving his power down.
That's right. Now, if he doesn't stop me from pushing his arm up, then that happens. I've got a reverse cover now. If he does stop me with strength, then I go down. Can't stop me going down now. Think of something else that you don't think someone would normally get out of. You don't even think of anything.
On the back.
Yeah,
On the back.
Ninja squirrel, Mom.
Oh, what?
Ninja squirrel.
Ninja squirrel. I've never heard of ninja squirrel, so... Ever seen a ninja squirrel?
I like his nuts.
Right. Dangerous technique. What point are you going to be, you're going to be faffing around a bee for ages. Right? Wriggle. You know? Because it's actually a neck breaker. Now, he wants my neck to go forward. That's the only thing that's going to stop it from breaking. Go with this. Don't let him leave. A little bit of body movement. All I've got to do with that is turn around. Collapse him. Moving. Keeping over this. Oh, can you see the simplicity? Because it's broken down to very simple forms. You've got to get in there, the whole body. You've got to mould. What you've got to do is, through the word you might understand, aim it forward. He's coming in. Watch my body actually end up in the same position as his. That's what I'm going to understand. But because I'm on the outside, I've got all the grabs. If I was there, I'd have to do something completely different, wouldn't I? Because now he's got the grabs. Right? I'd have to handle him in a different way. So you move to his disadvantage. That's the way he's going. Smack. This is powerful. That would be a very powerful strike. So he's been hit once. Arm broke. Lost his balance. As he comes back up for air, so to speak, his arm gets snapped again. As he drops to earth under my spine, because I'm only in a squat position, right? So he smashes his spine, bam! You step back to let his spine go someplace. His arm's still in a dangerous position, his neck's in a dangerous position. You can't kick, and you can leave go. But all of that's achieved by simple movement. It's got to be simple movement. All of these things, you know, the third thing we'll leave alone. So I just wanted to, your earth technique, just come through. It's not hard, it's not powerful, it's not fast. So these things can be straight in. Use of the arm. No. Will that break one? Yeah. These are all free. You're looking around. You need to escape. Snap. He's not tangling me up. That's the point I'm trying to get across. He's not getting hold of me in the act of us going down. We don't want to go on the floor with you having as much advantage as me, and then we start relying on strength and who's the best wrestler and who's the best striker and who's the best kicker and all that. You never let him get a chance. So if we're going to move into earth, we're going to move into fire. Remember what that is? Bam! Oh. Wherever you want to be, wherever you happen to be, is the advantage you're going to take. And I saw last week some things where people going, you know, you would never go like that. You'd go like this. Your whole body would go into it. See the difference in the dynamics. It's not any harder strike. That would do some damage. Your body does a lot more. You want to come further down the arm, right? You want to design some throws. You're on there, okay? You've got a wrist. Work on some throws. Use your own imagination. Which way is he going to fall? Back over. Help him go. And kick at the same time. What we've got going on, the reason I'm doing it with two people, is to show you that I've got to start concentrating. I can't use my body as much because it's been restricted from one side. Right? So we've got a wrist lock on that side, virtually the same thing from this side. This one would take me down to break, that one would straighten me arm to break. Right? What you've got to look at is the mechanics of both of those. Right? John's can only work if my arm remains straight. Try it, John. Right? Can only work if I leave my arm straight. Really put it on. Right? So that's what it's going to do. He's going to lean in and try and snap it. Now, you lean in and try and snap it. Won't work. You understand that? Now, if you focus on the wrist and try to think, God, I'm going to break my wrist, you'll get broke. So, as soon as he's grabbed, you've got to have this awareness. It's no good talking, oh, I've got my wrist moving around, he's got this one over here. It's got to happen. So, John comes in to break. And that's actually a strike. I know I can get free. So he's gone. At the same time, we'll analyse this over here. If John puts that back on so you can see that it doesn't matter which side you go at first. Mal's got this one. For Mal's to work, try it on. Right, he's going to take me that way. True? He wants me down, right? That's the way he wants me. So, put it on Mal. If you go down, it's not working. Try it on. It's not working for him, is it? And again, because it's a simple wrist lock, you know you can get out any time. You understand this? Don't ever lose that awareness that you can get out any time. Because if we lose it, that's when you start to get in trouble. If you think that just grab one single hand, if you think that you can get out of. Now it's a lock. Oh, it's different. Which one's a lock? Now it's a lock. Oh, they're different. They're not. Look, the mechanics just alter. That's all that alters. So this time, you decide between the two of you, right? You can either do it as a signal, or you can decide to break my arm. When you start to break my arm, he starts to break my arm, and so you both got me. You know, just go to work. Understand? So what you're seeing in this scenario is I'm working with Anthony, and this is an after-training balance, but it could also be a training session or a treatment session if he had a problem. So what we do is a generic balance. So I'm going to check most of the joints in his body, mobilise them, freeing nerves off, freeing energy channels, using pressure techniques, using movement techniques that over the 50 years of experience I've condensed down, and from the teachings of Hatsumi with over 30 years of experience of that, using the archaic history to bring it into a format that's very easy to learn, very effective, treats the whole body at each session. We now run courses for that so that you can learn how to balance the body, how to align the body. Very good for after training sessions and just actually an integral part of the Budo system. And see, in ancient times, this would have been all part of one system, whereas most martial arts now specialise on the martial art part, and a lot of the ancient medicine has been lost. Unfortunately, Hatsumi had scrolls on that and taught us personally those techniques that I've incorporated in and underpinned now with the modern science of biotensegrity, of nerve glides, of the knowledge we have of fascia. And a lot of the things I used to do chiropractically or osteopathically don't do anymore, because these pressure movement techniques actually envelop all of that, which is more in keeping with the ancient system that Hatsumi passed on to us. And reach on its fascia and release the muscle and release the energy flow, and also let the nerve glide. The alteration of this triangle here, and I'm using my body as I squat down, it applies the pressure to all three. Then I equalise the pressure to all three and feel the triangle, change one side of the triangle and it changes to the other three, so the whole dynamics of the physiology changes. I'll tell you, partner, that was my nails, not someone's teeth.
It's a little bite just to worry about.
So what we're looking at is the structure of your body. A muscle here called the psoas is your main hip flexor. So we're testing it, evaluating for its postural strength, not its actual strength, pushing against strength, your postural strength to hold it up. So I want you to hold this leg up for me. Yeah. Hold against this light pressure. Can you feel how easy I can push that down? Yeah. Now we'll go to the other side, and I'm doing the same thing. And feel the difference there? Now I'm even going to use a bit of force here. Hold, yeah. And you can still hold it up effortlessly, because that one's joined to your inner core. This one's lost its joint to your inner core. You get me? So when I go to pick your leg up, the response through the nervous system is, signal goes in, leg comes up. This one, feel how heavy it is? I can't pick it off the floor, because the signals aren't connecting through your core. So that's your main hip flexor muscle. So a little fossa. That's all I need to know. Come to your foot, and your foot should be able to do two things. It should be able to go back and forwards like that, and it should be able to go that way and that way a lot. It doesn't go that way much. So I'll give you a comparison. The other foot does. Can you feel? So that lack of swing, the way you're walking, when you heel it to the floor, it's sending wrong messages up to your nervous system to make you walk wrongly. So I'm going to correct that. And this area here, where these nerves and everything pass through, is called the tarsal tunnel. And so people get tarsal tunnel syndrome. And this nerve here, the posterior tibial nerve, needs to be able to glide under this piece of tissue called the retinaculum, which is a very strong band that holds the shape of the ankle. So as we're working that, we want to be able to locate under this bony part of the ankle bone and be able to free that off and get especially that nerve to be able to glide. That stops a lot of problems, a lot of pain, painful feet, a lot of foot conditions because this doesn't glide properly, and a lot of low back problems also develop because of this being a problem as well. So we think of sciatica coming down the leg, but pains can also be transmitted up the leg from these mechanical difficulties. So we want to be freeing that off as well. I'm going to go back, and that main hip flexor, hold up now, is now hold up, it's strong, hold again, strong and stronger and stronger. You feel that? So I think that's all right. So I'm going into a little nerve here. I'm going to free this off. And again, what I'm doing is I'm applying pressure with my body ergonomics. So I'm kneeling, I'm on my toes, I'm using my spine, I'm joining all myself up, and then using you joined to me to produce the right natural movement to release that nerve that's not gliding properly. Then we're going to flip you over, so you're face down. And basically what you've got is the lumbar spine here is your power base. And when we walk, one iliac bone goes that way and one goes the other way. And that puts a rotary torque into the lumbars, which drives power to all the limbs. So if this junction's not working properly, you've got to use your postural set of muscles, which is not the autonomic set of muscles. So you're relying on physical strength, which is not the best way, and as you get older, that'll make you shuffle and walk badly. So I'm going to change the relationship of this angle here and sacrum here. So I'm on 3 points again down your sacrum. I'm taking your leg. I'm tension coupling the whole limb to make it pandiculate and retone its fascia and release the muscle and release the energy flow and also let the nerve glide. So this, where my thumb is the main nerve for the leg, is the sciatic nerve. So I'm making sure that can glide. And the femur heads also alter their position when you've got a problem in the back. So I'm releasing that. I'm releasing the sciatic nerve further down. And then I'm going to change the alteration of this triangle here. The reason I designed the triangular techniques is that the way the spine works, it has to go into adaptation, especially if the sacrum is out of alignment in relationship to the head. Vertically, we've got two compasses, like a gyro compass, a bit like what you have on a ship, because the body is moving through different undulations and movements, and these two messages need to be the same, and in fact the messages from the feet. And what I found is that some of the deviations that help are the adaptations that the spine has to make so they can still be upright competent, even though you might ache with it, goes into a triangulation pattern. So when we free the triangulations off, that gets rid of a lot of the adaptations in the spine. Again, you can see I'm using my elbow as a tool, I'm using my thumb as a tool, I'm using my other thumb as a tool, and I'm using my body as I squat down. It applies the pressure to all three. Then I equalise the pressure to all three and feel the triangle, change one side of the triangle, and it changes the other three, so the whole dynamics of the physiology changes. You can probably see here the way I'm using my toes, the way I'm using my spine to apply those different vectors of pressure through. Then I'm looking for areas of stiffness. And I can use my elbow to apply those. So ribs get very tight in between the vertebrae. You've got a bladder energy channel that runs up the spine. All of that gets blocked. The small muscles that form the various 3K vectors that I'm talking about, rotary torque, they have to co-contract down the spine. Yours are not working as a unit. So again, you've got to come from a strength power base, which eventually causes strains.
How long have you been doing your band for, Ron?
2 years.
Oh, right.
How many?
3 years.
You can see even the way I'm applying my thumb, I don't use my nails. I'm applying my thumb and then using my body ergonomics to increase the load. You can feel that? And again, the fact that Hatsumi school is in this and said it was an ancient art form that was banned during the Meiji Restoration, Anmo was banned, and only the blind people could do it. That was the only concession. That I know that this way of pressing is authentic, and the way he showed it, he said nobody does it like this anymore. So that takes it out of the realm of other pressing arts that I don't need to name. Now we're going to line your head to your sacrum. So here we have the collarbone, and behind the collarbone we've got again these nerves that come from the brachial plexus, but we've also got some muscles that attach up to the sides of the neck, and they cause a lot of problems in the neck. That's where some of these points I was using this morning, and I'm going to release the jaw. If the jaw's tight, your hips are tight, and your gait walking is inhibited to some degree. So we're as free as our jaw. You feel the tension in this one? Jump up.
That's nice, isn't it?
Different?
Yeah.
Right, guys, we're going to talk about the Bujinkan straight punch. Now, this video I put up the other day, and it was from my recent play about with Dennis Bartram of the Bujinkan, who is part of Active Balance, and that is, you can have a look at their stuff down below. But what this caused a little bit of outrage on the old interweb for two reasons. One, Anthony Cummins doing Bujinkan, and two, is it realistic or not? Now, and actually there was a third one, which I'm going to deal with, is people said, oh, I thought you said you didn't believe in the Bujinkan, Anthony. So I'm going to deal with those things now. First of all, let us talk about me basically now supporting the Bujinkan. I do not support the Bujinkan, but I have never, ever, ever, ever changed my mind on any of it. I've never changed my story. I started in the Bujinkan, I trained with Dennis, and basically I discovered through historical research and through academic vigour that there is no such thing as a hand-to-hand combat method, okay? So people have said, oh, Anthony, you know, going back on recent. No, it's not ninjutsu. What me and Dennis are doing here is not ninjutsu. It is traditionally jujitsu, or it is yawara te, kumiuchi, whatever you want to call it. All of those words were used by samurai. And I would say this is closer to samurai jiu-jitsu than any Koryu today, okay? This is as close as it gets to samurai. Oh, nice one, Dennis. That really hurt that, and he hardly touched me. I can't believe people are on the internet saying, oh, it doesn't look realistic. Do you know what I mean? You're like, I don't think so. You want to be on the end, you be on the end of that. There's my horrible face, but basically I'm just playing the old video. So get yourself a copy of the Book of Bushido, guys, and help me out. So we're going to go with the Bujinkan straight punch. Oh, this, by the way, is active balance, body alignment, fix your pain. You can get this on Amazon, and it talks about how to go through body alignment, and it's a small book, but it's one of those where you click the QR codes and they'll take you to a video to do it. So do get yourself a copy, guys, and support them. Make sure you follow Active Balance on Instagram and on their website. They've got a newsletter and all that. So, okay. Now, what really annoys me when people say about the Bujinkan straight punch. Now, I agree, and Dennis agrees. And if you actually listen to what's going on, Dennis agrees with most of this. And yes, if you stand in a long stance and you throw a punch, yep, and you then stay there, then they can do what they want. But he's teaching to the camera, so I'm staying there out of respect. The simple fact is I know full well if I was to punch Dennis, he wouldn't give me half the chance to stand there. But we're talking about what you do here and what you do there. And if you listen, half the time he's saying, and you don't just stand here, you will initiate before that. So most of the time, me and Dennis, as you have seen there, go from a grapple. Straight away, we go into a grapple. Because he says himself, he says, most fights start here. Now, you will get the silly fights where it's like somebody just swing about, but then, you know, they swing about. And what Dennis wants me to do here is come like a street fighter would. And that is, in general, and I'm not talking a professional street fight, I'm talking about how to fight on the street. People are going to come for you. They're going to grab your collar, grab your ears, grab your head and want to headbutt you. Yep. And I was going pretty fast then. It's pretty fast. So for those people who are saying, oh, you know, you just stop and then it's nonsense. I agree with you. When the Bujinkan do that, it's total nonsense. But that's not nonsense. The simple fact is there, yes, we're not going full out, but me and Dennis both know this. The point is, we're trying to find moments inside of combat. He is not saying, let's have a fight and fight it. The fight would last about 2 or 3 seconds because one of us would find something, most likely Dennis. But the point is, fights don't last long if you're really fighting. They last 10, 20 seconds max. And what we're doing here is 22 minutes. There's no way we'll be at a fight for 22 minutes like this. We'd both be on the floor collapsing. So the point is he's talking about those moments, those small moments in fights you get from certain positions. So yes, sometimes I stand there with my arm out because he's saying, right, look at this body posture, look at this. But in real life, Dennis is not going to not do that, is he? He's not going to go stand there where you stand there. So yes, in the Bujinkan, you look at that. People say to us, it's not realistic, yeah? That is me and him going 20, 30% into it, you know, having a sort of say, right, this is sort of what would happen. But the actual reality is once I do this, it'd be that, see that punch there, that would have been a massive smash to the jaw. If I've gone to grab him, he would have smashed my jaw and there'd have been follow-up, my eye would have been out, and then he'd have stamped on my neck. And that'd be the end of that. I'd be done. But you can't train like that. Everybody knows that. So what happens in the Bujinkan, it goes the other way. And people go too soft because they wanted to follow Hatsumi. But Dennis has understood that you go soft internally, but you still give someone a right good crack. You don't mess about. So just to reiterate that, basically, I am not saying I now support the Bujinkan, but what I've said from day one, and I've always said, that, oh, God, they hurt them ones. What I've always said from day one is the Bujinkan is not a real Koryu in the sense that it's not ninjutsu. It cannot be established back to a single Koryu. But what it was is Hatsumi, not Takamatsu, Hatsumi has put together what he considers how Koryu should look in real life, based off his teachings in other Koryu. It has never ever, nor will it ever be, ninjutsu. It's not a possible, yeah? That's not what it is. So it's hand-to-hand combat. And I have stuck to my guns from day one and said, like, what you've got to remember, guys, is I'm in a really tight place. So I was a Bujinkan member. I was training with Dennis. We were doing all that. And basically, I wanted to find out about real ninja because, did the Bujinkan, it was ninja. Then it turns out, actually, there's no ninjas. So I've got to tell all the Bujinkan, which are my, inverted commas, mates, that it's not real. And then, obviously, all of them throw me out. I didn't even see Dennis for 15 years because he got a load of stick off Hatsumi. So when I was there, Togi said he got problems off Hatsumi, saying, what's this Anthony Cummins doing? To be fair, Hatsumi knows who I am. He knows, I've met him multiple times. And so, Dennis, it's his business. He can't just be seen hanging around with me. And so what you've got is, I have always said, Bujinkan is good if you've got a hard fighter who learns what they're doing. But if you've got a hard fighter who just stands there with his hands out doing that is terrible. But Dennis is the best in the world for the simple reason that he's a hard fighter, he's an old power lifter. Look at the muscles on his arms. He's a power lifter. This man, by the way, here has just had 2 hip operations, not that long ago. Literally replaced his hips. And so you imagine this is a 74-year-old man. This is what Hatsumi should have been like. And I'm a 46-year-old, and I'm quite a stocky lad. And I want to, it seems soft and thing, but he punches me, and I'll tell you what, I've took many punches in my life, but he can dig, and he hardly touches you. And he does it right at the right time, like that, and he knows where to hit, what to do. So for those who are saying, Anthony, you now support the Bujinkan. No, I don't. I'm saying that if you get a good instructor like Dennis, it's a good fighter. And I think, now this is just theory, and Kono Sensei has the same theory, I think that this is the closest you're going to get to samurai jiu-jitsu in the 13, 14, 1500s. Before it goes into dojo culture, this is what you're going to get. So you imagine going out into samurai, look at the bamboo forest behind him, you imagine going out into samurai times and training. This is what you'd have. You'd have an old master who'd be teaching you, and he'd be teaching stuff. He's getting on a bit, he's getting old, but he's the one with the knowledge, and I'm the one who's got to go out and fight. And I'm moving on to that older person now, because you should be about 15 to about 40 going out fighting in wars, really. They're your main samurai. And the other one is the straight punch. That punch I'm doing is actually a karate punch, not a Bujinkan punch. And if it's a bit of a catch-22 system, this, because if you did a haymaker just from nowhere, a hooked punch, people would be like, it's a shit punch. But if you do a straight punch, people go, it's a shit punch. So which punch do you do? Is it straight? So for me, even I would not start a fight like that. There's no way I would start a fight like that. I would just from here. But you see the punches, it's solid. So you've got to imagine that's not the beginning of a fight. So it looks like the beginning because I stand there. But actually what it is we've pushed each other, we've moved about, and one of us is going to go for it. One of us push the other one just goes to punch. So it isn't you just stand there and punch, but we're not going to do that every single time for a 4-hour seminar. It's like, right, Dennis, you push me, I'll push you, we swear at each other, one of us kicks something, and then I'll go to punch you. No, we just start from the punch. And you don't start from a haymaker. So those people who say you don't straight punch in a fight, you do. You really do. Boxers do it all the time. They straight jab. They jab with the left hand and then come in with the right hand. Absolutely straight. Karate people do it. And then it's only when you get in certain circumstances you do like hooked punches. These people who say you never punch with this hooked punch or you never punch straight punch don't know what they're talking about. You use all of them. It depends where you are. And this replicates, where me and Dennis are now, replicates, we're half into a fight. So it's a case of, we've been pushing about and I've come in and he's saying, right, you can punch from here, you can move your way. He's saying in karate, we do this, we do that. He says, get rid of all that. And this way come. I've stood there because he's showing the audience this is what they do. Of course, in reality, it happens in a fraction of a second. But now he's saying, well, stop there for a minute, Anthony, and I'll show you. And then he does this. He isn't saying that's what happens in the street, but you know full well that'd be happening in an instant. And he's done it multiple times. It's not as if he's like, I would do this in life. He actually has done that many times to me. And when you're looking from the side on, guys, it does look slower than it actually is. In reality, it's fast. And here he's talking about the middle of the eye. So he says often, if you just swat in front of the eyes at this cross point, because there's a point where it focuses there, it puts them off for a split second. And that's all you need for that. That's why they will stand there with their fists in the air. So, and he's talking about getting offline. Then he was actually saying, which I liked, he was saying you would come offline, or you don't even have to. He said, go into their line, which I absolutely believe, because it's like you don't need to get out of people's way. You get in their way. Look at the size difference between me and Dennis. Look at the size difference. And I'm not joking. They're not overreactions. The simple fact is, if you're in a real fight and you've no idea what this guy's going to do and he puts his hand on your face, you move. You get away because you don't want your eyes gouged. People always try gouging eyes. You don't want it. So here where you see me standing up waiting, he's explaining, guys. Now, I don't think I'm too far from the end of this video, so I'll keep rabbiting on. But I did want to just get this video out because of the sort of the comments on there. So, again, Dennis is 74-year-old. He was about 55 when I last trained with him, coming up to 60, I don't know. And you imagine him at 30, right, doing this. So a samurai would train someone, and between the ages of 20 and 30, being this good and understanding the body dynamics this well. And understanding, you see me going down, but he's not pushing me over with like a feather. He's touching, he knows exactly where to touch because he knows where the muscles are. And do you know why he does this? Because he literally is an osteopath. And you see, this is where he says, put a bit in. Sometimes he'll say, put a bit in, Anthony. But we've got to be careful. He's had his hips done and he's 74 and I've got to be careful as well because he just whacked me out. But he says, then it comes to it, it's just if I was wearing a tap-out top now and we were in a cage, you would all say that was great. Oh, look at us. Look, you know, the scrap. You'd all say it's good. But like that, you see that? Oh, I love the way I hit the camera then. It's because we're going in, we're having a bit of a fight, and he's saying that this is an exercise, really. In fact, it's all an exercise, because what he does is he's looking to find that moment where he can have a go. And I'm looking to find that moment where I can have a go at him. But we both know, like that's how long a fight would actually last. I would grab him, he'd go down, and that'd be it. My head would be stuck. Now, he wouldn't walk away, he'd be kicking my head from every week till Sunday. There'd be no way. And he'd be doing it all. So, guys, get out of this idea that just because he stops and talks and I stand there and listen, that it's not realistic. This is why I don't really believe in Hatsumi, to be honest. I'm going to say that because Hatsumi had it. See there. That was it. That's what would happen. That fast and cut out. That is what would happen. And I'm glad I just caught that there because it would be in that split second. So very quickly, I'm sorry, I'm trying to reiterate, but I keep seeing new things. Basically, if you see me doing a straight punch, it's because we're starting from about a third of the way into the fight where people have moved around, they've jostled, and then one goes to punch, or somebody slaps someone and then they go to punch. We're not fighting as you would fight we're fighting as if I was coming at you in the street, yeah? That's how it is. The straight punch is by far the better punch to do, in my opinion. If it be left or right, you start a fight, or your first punch becomes a straight punch, and then you can follow up when in close with a hooked punch. It doesn't matter. But the straight punch is absolutely fine. But what you don't do is the Bujinkan long stance, straight punch out, wait there, somebody attacks you with a little stow, and then, and does it down. No, that is the very rudimentary basics white belt version of what Dennis does. So you might start like that in white belt, but the problem with the Bujinkan is you get 15 dans doing this with long stances and their arms up. Dennis is a real master of his art. The problem we've got now is Dennis is too old. That's a problem. And it's he's had his time in the Bujinkan, and it's just a shame he's not 50 now. That's the shame, because in 10 years he's going to be 84. And the simple fact is, I told him to his face, I said, you got till 90, Dennis, then you're done. And I mean, let's be honest, once you're 80, you can still be powerful, but nobody can defeat age. So we're hoping Dennis carries on for years, and we're hoping you get another 10 years. Now, Dennis is going to open, I think they're opening a Bujinkan channel from Dennis, because he's got his active balance, yeah? But he's going to, look at that. Oh, it does. I have to walk away there because one, I just want to headbutt something, and two, it's like they've got, it's fast. We're only stopping there because he's explaining. So basically, Dennis is going to open a Bujinkan channel, and I'm going to get it for you. We're just in the process of doing it, and periodically I'm going to go down and I am going to train with Dennis and his students, and we're going to get some stuff together. And I'm also going to get Dennis on my stuff, the swordsmanship, to see where Dennis takes it. And you see there, he slit my throat. He's talking about knives, and that's it, end of life. So basically, I want you to look out for me and Dennis in the future. Now, you've listened to me yabber on for a while, but I've just stopped and double-checked with video, so we are coming a bit more towards the end. But I want you to now let me know what you think. Do you agree with the punch? Like, as I said, I would not do the straight punch like that. I would never do it. I would go in very close, and I always start from a sort of, you know, pushing close and then punch or grab or eyes. Eyes, throat, balls. Eyes, throat, balls is your number one. I would never actually do it like that. But many people will punch. They'll start with a left jab and then a right thingy. But you can ignore a left jab pretty much. You know the right one's coming in because that's the powerhouse. And we were talking in this seminar, it doesn't matter if you get clipped, as long as you're not full force in the front of someone's jab and then someone's follow-up, you know, you're all right. If you can at least ride the blow back. And very few people get knocked out by a left jab. Yes, it can happen, but it's very rare to get knocked out by a left jab. So we all know the right hand is coming in. So me and Dennis are ignoring the left feint and because feints, jabs are always the feint. And we're ignoring that and going straight to that one. So, guys, he put a gi on there just to see thingy. So let me know what you think in the comments below. And I want you to, and yeah, he's talking here. You can see he's like, let's, you know, have a look at things. And he's talking about somebody brutally coming over and how you get rid of them. And he's not using, and that is genuine throw. And I am being thrown. I have to flip over at the end bit there simply because if I don't, I will face plant and hit the floor, which I don't want to do. Okay, I don't want to do. So, and there we're talking about, again, that's not what he would do in real life. What we're saying, he's saying, here's the balance point, Andy, can you feel it? Can you feel it? So what I think me and Dennis are going to do when we do some more filming is we're going to do some one-off shots, like this is what you do in this situation. This is what you do in this situation. And then film them just like that. No topping, no stalking. Or just say, right, no talking the first time, Dennis. This is, see that punch there. I'm at the side. He could absolutely just snap some of my vertebrae like that. And this is, I remember this one. So this, I don't know if this one, he's just talking about that. Yes, he wouldn't move around quite like that because he's had to move to the camera. So this is where people don't understand. They say, he's moved for the camera, but watch his knee, right on there, all my bones crushed. And then watch my face, watch his face. I can't get out of it. I could normally get out of the locks, but watch it. And he puts it on, then that's it. I can't get out of it. He's just crushing my bones. Absolutely crushing my bones with his entire... He's not putting his weight on it. He's putting all of his dynamic force into it so that my bones is pure agony. Now, if I can relax and go through that, I can get through it. But you try it. I challenge anyone to try it. So, hopefully, we've got another good 10 years of training with Dennis, and this stuff can be passed on. But he doesn't really have anyone who knows his stuff to this level. Now, no one from the fighting side anyway. It's just a shame I live about 4 hours away from Dennis. And I always have lived about 4 hours away from Dennis. And of course, I'd have carried on training with Dennis and I'd have been basically his successor, I suppose, to all this stuff if it weren't for the fact that I literally went down the historian route, you know what I mean? So hopefully when I finish my build and I get time back, so if I finish in a few years, I can go back and really, maybe, I would like to do a book with Dennis, a martial arts book from the Bujinkan about how the Bujinkan should be done. So let's hope Dennis has got a lot of good years left in him and we can do that book. But it's going to have to be in the years to come when I'm, you know, no longer doing this, and we can do a samurai jiu-jitsu book between me and Dennis and all the everything in there, and I will pull the history and Dennis will do the you know, the martial arts side of it, and you know, all these sort of things. And he, not on that, remember guys, I'm not even, you only see him as an old guy there as a martial arts master, and he looks amazing for 74. He is an osteopath by trade and has been for decades. He literally fixes bones. He's in with the NHS, use him and things like that. His job. And not only that, he has multiple people under him who are all trained up, and you can train up as well under him and become an osteopath or become what they do now. So he's actually left his osteopaths behind. But for ease of understanding, you guys, he still runs his osteopath stuff and fixes, whether you want to call it shiatsu, which he hates calling it, Japanese massage, osteopathy, all that sort of stuff. He does it in there, but he's sort of got it right down to his top understanding and done it. He is the man you should be following, guys, right? So what I want you to do is I want you to get, at least, guys, if you do nothing, follow them on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. It's free, Active Balance, it's free. So follow them. If you're going to spend any money, get a copy of their book. If you're really going to spend some money, go on their course. You can go on their course. I think it's a remote course as well. I'm not quite sure if you've got to turn up, but I don't really know the ins and outs. But we will be going into that sort of stuff. So I'm going to hire a dojo in a few months, and see Dennis, and let's get some videos done. And we're going to start a new channel, and I will feature prominently on Dennis's channel, and we're going to film a load of stuff for the day. And I will run it so that it's not just us talking, chatting, because Dennis will just chat bones for years. Literally, if you get talking on the spine, that's it. He's there for about 25 minutes with Dennis talking about the spine, beyond what me and you can ever understand. So I will run it. I'll make sure we get some excellent video, and there will be a Bujinkan style. Well, it is Bujinkan. It's simple as that, whatever. So guys, get yourself a copy of the book, yeah, Active Balance. Do follow them and do everything. I hope you've enjoyed that, and I do want to support Dennis because he's not my direct instructor. My direct instructor was a man called Stephen, who was under a man called Keith, but they're all from the same area. Dennis, Keith and Stephen from the same dojo, and Dennis went his way, Keith went his way, and Stephen I just don't see anymore. And but I've always thought Dennis was the man, absolutely the man, who knew what he was doing and knew what he was doing right. So I was there with it. Now, by the way, I want you to be clear, Dennis is an absolute 100 supporter of Hatsumi. He has been in Hatsumi's house. He's been for dinner with Hatsumi. He's known Hatsumi since the 80s. He came only a few years after Stephen Hayes. He has absolutely been with Hatsumi and does not, you know, we disagree. Me and Dennis disagree about Hatsumi, about what I think. I think Dennis is better than Hatsumi. He doesn't. He thinks Hatsumi's still. I do not believe in Hatsumi, but I believe what Dennis has learned and took away. I will be doing another video on Hatsumi soon, basically. So do keep in touch. Right, guys, I'm going to let you go now because we're at 22 minutes. It's the end of the old video. So I'm looking forward to all your comments and what you have to say. See you later, everyone.